Quiet on the set. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. I'm DearMYRTLE, your friend in genealogy, and you are going to be surprised. We are broadcasting live from the glass enclosed nerve center on the second floor of the FamilySearch Library here in beautiful downtown Salt Lake City. I expected rain today. It's beautiful out. It's a nice winter day.
The mountains are a little covered in clouds, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, let me introduce our panelists who are here today. Thank heavens for them. And then I'll introduce my guests. And we will do this extended RootsTech Mondays with Myrt special. Okay, so we have Frank, our guy from Germany. Hi, Frank. Let me hear your voice.
Hi.
Okay. Guten Morgen. Yeah. And our guy.
Good Nachmittag.
Oh, okay. You're much better at all this than I am. Okay. And our guy, Randy Seaver from California. Jill, our gal from Washington State. I feel like I'm still there, but because we barely arrived and then we set up quickly. It's how it goes. Hi, Ellen. Thank you for being here. You know, if it weren't for Hillary and Dan and Pat Kuhn and all the rest of the gang, I wouldn't have been able to get this thing off the ground. They helped me with the mic check. We're using our Blue Yeti sitting on the table. That's my webcam from my actual computer at home on a tripod that Rick Voigt from Vivid Pics helped me with Mr. Myrt get arranged in this new setting. All right, so Hillary, could you move everyone to the wings except for me and my guests, and we'll go forward. Let's see who's here on the YouTube side.
Oops.
Whoa, great. Okay. Hello from sunny but cold Virginia. Hi, Janet. Here's Deb from Los Angeles. And my stepmother used to say Los Angeles. I don't know if that's a thing, but she did. Okay. Sean says, I wish I could be there this year for the conference. Got to stay home in Wisconsin again this year. You might be the smart one because we're exhausted already and it hasn't even started. I don't know. Here's our lead. Our gal in Norway. Hi but she's in, well, I can't say the name of the place where you are right now. Remember, she's our gal in Norway to help you with research.
That's right.
Okay. Hello. Project Ken is signing in. Hi, Barb, from Berkeley. And let's see what we've got. Okay, there are a bunch of people out there. Well, I've got a bunch of people in here. And so let's get busy. Welcome to Mondays with Myrt.
Thank you.
So good to see you.
You too.
Pleasure.
All right. So
Yes.
Jen, tell us who you are and why are you here? and lean in a little bit.
Because she's a cat herder.
Hi, my name is Jenny Horan. I'm from Connecticut, and I have a blog called Like Herding Cats, Genealogy. And I've been with Gen Friends. I was trying to think of that the other day. A year, 2 years? I don't remember.
Forever, we love you.
I don't know. So I'm here to. I'm part of the RootsTech media team. So I'm here to do some interviews. In my real life, my day job, I work in local television. So I'm here to get some good interviews, and I'm excited to be here.
Way cool. Okay.
I'm Sherry Hudson-Passy. I'm here as media. I'm here. I'm speaking, and as the leader, I suppose, the host of Gen Friends, which is a genealogy chat show. And so there's a group of us that get together once a week, and we just talk about what's going on in genealogy, and you just never know what's going to happen.
It's a wild bunch. I love spotlighting your work.
It's a wild bunch. Like I said, we never know what's going to happen. We like talking to other professional genealogists. We like to cover the genealogy TV shows. Relative Race is our favorite. And so, check us out on YouTube.
And your personal
My
website is?
personal, it's Carolina Girl Genealogy. I do repatriation work for the U.S. Army, helping to return our missing soldiers. And
yes,
it's a wonderful job. And Yeah, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's good. Okay, you're up.
I'm Laura Hedgecock. I also am here as media and a speaker. Also, I'm Sherry's roommate when we do RootsTech. There was one year I tried her out for 2 nights, and then after that, we've done it. And
So does she snore?
no,
And how much did you pay her not to say?
and so representing Gen Friends, and also my website is Treasure Chest of Memories, and it's all about personal and family storytelling, and that's really my passion. I'm also an author, and it always comes back around to family history and things
Really
like that.
does. It really does. And in a few minutes, we're going to have some gals from Substack, and they're big on writing.
Yeah.
And come at it, I think, from more of a writing point of view, but are very accomplished writers and genealogists. So it's good to kind of mix. So
Right.
here's your official Dear Myrtle's
Aw.
friend ribbon for your
Thank you.
conference.
Thank you.
And also,
That's great.
do you have your blogger beads?
I have
I
mine.
don't have, I
All
thought
right, I
had
have a
but I
few. Do you
didn't.
want? Yes.
Thank
Ceremonial
you.
passing of the blogger bead.
I have
Thank
mine.
you.
You have yours,
Yep,
just
I
didn't
just didn't
wear
wear
'em.
them today. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So, thank you. I'm going to ask you to cycle out and let the
Alrighty.
other three
Thank
come on
you.
in. Thanks. I
Thanks.
love you guys. I'm happy to see
Okay,
you.
can I work in
Yes.
that to find Gen Friends on YouTube? It's youtube.com/GenFriends. So youtube.com/@GenFriends.
That's how they do it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's a good,
so
it's much better
come
than
join
that
us.
weird long
Yes,
URL.
exactly.
Come join
It's
us.
a lot
I'll be the one making all the mistakes. Laura.
I'll be the ones taking it off the rails. Jenny will be the ones bringing it back on top.
Exactly.
So,
There we
everything's
go.
normal. Huh?
Exactly.
all good.
Exactly.
All right.
you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Catch you later. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Wow. All right, let's see who else. Cindy Bray is, come on in, guys, you're next. Cindy Bray is home in California, having a temper tantrum. Come on in. There we go, Rick, come on. And
you.
let's see who else is here. Oh, Ellen's just welcoming everybody. Can't wait to get here. I can't wait to see you in person, live and in person. Valerie out there in Minnesota. Boy, miss you, Val. Here's Gwenny from North San Diego, as opposed to, we got 2 San Diegoans, you and Randy. Let's see who else is there. Oh, and Randy has been sharing links wherever he could. Thank you so much. Hi, Karen. I go alone to RootsTech, need to get a roommate for the fun I am hearing. Yeah, those ladies are a bit wacko. I don't know about these.
They're having fun.
Yeah. No, you're perfectly fine. Okay, I do need the paperwork that came when you signed up, so I can refer to your web. All right, so now we're on to the next set. So I finally get to meet you in person. So good to see
Good to see
you.
you too.
And you too. So let's start with this gentleman over here who was my technical advisor this time.
Technical support.
Yeah, come on over in here a little bit because I
Okay.
want you better in the picture.
Thank you.
We're getting good lighting through this.
We are.
window.
It's really a
beautiful.
wonderful setup you've arranged here.
Yes, Rick, if you had not helped me with Mr. Myrt to set up all this technology in a different room, I don't know what we would have.
We all get by with a little help from our friends, I think you said.
We do. So here's one of
All
the
right.
conferences.
Oh,
This is what we do at
Very good.
RootsTech and genealogy conferences.
Thank you.
And so, Rick, tell us why the heck you are here.
I'm Rick Voigt. I'm the co-founder and CEO of VividPix.
Vivid Pics.
And so VividPix, we've been around for about a dozen years. We originally started to improve underwater photos, then old photos.
Mhm.
And over the last, coming up on 5 years, we've been marketing something called Memory Station. And the Memory Station has advanced. So now we're actually able to scan, to restore images, to record voice memories, and then create MP4 videos. So it's very easy to do our oral histories and capture all the wonderful memories that we have.
That's pretty important because as I was talking with Sherry a minute ago about possibly joining Substack, and she's like, I'm overwhelmed by technology. And you've taken the overwhelm out of that scenario of scanning and documenting the stories of a family.
Thank you for that. We actually did a lot of research inside senior living facilities, as well as with professional genealogists, APG, of course, with NGS, and wonderful, wonderful people who have been willing to help us devise a very simple, easy to use with big buttons software.
That's necessary. I did check. Sometimes there's a little red mark there by the private chat, and I wanted to be sure that they could hear you out
Thank
there.
you.
That, because hearing does help. Anyway, good. All right. And now tell my friends about my new friends here.
I'm Robin Stewart.
Yes.
I am from Genealogy Matters and also Mission Genealogy, which I'm co-founder with Barbara Tien, and she runs Project Kin. And we're just very happy to be on Substack. It's become a really welcoming and friendly community for genealogists.
Absolutely. I noticed that right off the bat.
Yeah, and we're all about, like you said, we're all about writing, and but not just writing, because there are a lot of different ways to present and preserve your family history. So that's what we
Right.
really focus on.
Right. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that I joined Substack like 2 years ago when Daniel Loftus was saying, where can we go? Because we didn't want to belong to this or that for political reasons. And then I kind of just didn't do anything more with it. And Substack has evolved tremendously. One of the things that got me to pay more attention to Substack was the fact that those well-respected journalists, professional journalists who used to work for the Washington Post or the New York Times, moved to Substack and are going it alone because of the political influences that are occurring in the editorial departments on their newspapers. And I think this is where people are moving.
Yeah.
And I'm preparing my DearMYRTLE group to transition. And I'm also experimenting with a Genea quilters group and have begun to create a space there for them. But I don't even know how to do direct messages very well yet. So anyway, I'm so glad to meet you. And you're also a Substacker.
I am. I'm Kyla Byang, and I'm very new to Substack, but I love everything about it. I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I have lots and lots of ideas. So like you said, what other groups can I create a community about? Because that's what I found about Substack that I like so much, is that it just seems to be so very welcoming, and everybody on there is just so nice. And I have lots of enthusiasm, and let's go do this thing, right? So
It's awesome.
I just found out a couple of days ago, I guess, that we were going to be here at RootsTech, and I said, I'm going to go see. Let's see how we're doing. So yeah, so I have I have all crazy things. I'm actually a genealogy librarian.
Oh,
So yes, so
okay, we love her.
I'm
We
doing
love
all
her.
the things, but so I've got a couple of days of research here, and then I've got I'm doing the archivists and records custodians symposium that's
Yes.
tomorrow.
aware of it.
Wednesday, yeah. So
Yes.
I'm doing that. So I wear my hat and do that, and then RootsTech, just the regular all the things. But I have been charged with learning all of the things and bringing them back to all of my people, and I call my group Root Squad.
Mhm.
So I'm from Houston, and so my Substack is called Root Squad Roundup, and
Okay.
so I help them round up their ancestors.
So
it's
I like
just fun.
that. So one of the things that Substack does very well is that part of its structure is that when I followed Barbara at Project Kin, then she recommended you, but it wasn't just her recommending. When I went there to subscribe to your stack, is that the way to say it?
Yep.
See, I'm still learning, guys. Then your recommendations of people to follow and a few recommendations of people to subscribe to were there automatically. And you were the second one I did it with. The first one I just clicked and accepted it. With yours, I realized I could click and decide which of your people I wanted to follow. And so that's not something we're seeing in any other vertical.
Yeah.
In any other, I mean, Substack doesn't think of itself as a social media platform. It's for content producers, like podcasters or video bloggers, like old Myrt here, or writers. But that collaboration and that sense of networking is greatly enhanced by built-in features of Substack.
Definitely.
So it's way cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me today on Mondays with Myrt. And I think I've got some other people to talk to.
Yes.
Have a wonderful week.
Thank you. It
And
was
thanks for
wonderful
being
to
a
meet you.
librarian.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
We all love
Good to see ya.
librarians.
Thanks for having us.
Yay. Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, and here's Barbara. She's saying, yay, librarians. Our Barbara from Project
Thank
Kin. Huzza, huzza. Yep. And key evolution for Substack, responding to market challenges of places like X, Facebook, and the market as a whole. Thank you for marking that. We're getting all kinds of you guys can come on.
We weren't sure.
I know. You may approach. Okay.
Oh, are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Yes. Yes, we're all live. This is fine. We cycle in and out. So Karen is saying she's a follower on Substack, and she's getting some writing done to post right now on Substack. Oh, and I see who else is here. That's all good. Here's something we're delighted. That was all Project Kin Substack networking going on in the chat. This happens to be StreamYard that I'm using.
Okay.
I love Zoom, but this works really well because of being able to share screens simultaneously. So who on earth have we got here? Hello.
So good to see you again.
Are you here as a quilter, as a genealogist, as a DNA specialist?
And
as
as a scientist today.
Yes, yes.
Well, ironically, I have 3 DNA vests with me, and I didn't know you were on the day, so I don't have a single one of them on.
It's okay, Roberta. All right, so introduce yourself to my audience.
Okay, I'm Roberta Estes, and I'm a genetic genealogist, a scientist, and we just released the Million Mito Tree last week.
I
and
can't
it
believe
hit
it.
PR Wire this morning.
Yay!
Yeah, welcome to that.
So what is it? Explain the structure you've created.
So everybody's related. Everybody, all of us,
I
all of
know.
us, all of us, all those people out there, at some point in the past.
Mhm.
And what the new tree does is it rewrites it, if you will, because it's changed and it hadn't been updated in 9 years. And so we went back to Eve, mitochondrial Eve, and we rewrote the tree to current, and it's much more granular. So while you used to get a haplogroup, which is like your genetic clan,
Mhm.
that was maybe 1,000 years ago, now you can get them within a couple hundred years, which is really useful for genealogy. And I'm in, of course, in beta because I was part of the team.
Yes.
And so I've been playing with all mine, of course.
Of course.
And I've already found mothers, because, we lose their surnames. I've already, and once you break that wall, sometimes you can go back 2 or 3 generations because that other person
Yes.
has some information you don't have. And then you can prove it in records. And it's like, oh, I thought I died and gone to heaven.
This is incredible because I never cared about my haplogroup because it was a very big general one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could relate to my DNA cousin matches if they were second cousins. That was interesting to me. And I don't have any big conundrums, although I've always wondered why my dad, a physician, said, don't ever get your DNA tested. But so far, nothing's shown up.
Well, listen, that would be the thing to make me go test right away. Then
Well,
I'm
we
happy.
are all tested. I'm tested. He had already passed on before we had DNA testing. I mean, he knew we had it, but and I tested my brother. So that's good. And
She's pointing at me.
Can I spill the beans?
let's let her go.
So, okay, spill your beans.
And could you go ask Mr. Myrt where everyone else is? Could you go
Oh,
ask him?
sure, I'm sorry, am I supposed to be in line?
Go ask him, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and because we
Sherry
need,
sent me down here.
we need the next group, yeah.
Roberta says I've always wanted to meet you.
Oh, there we go.
Your
Almost
fan
is.
base is right there. It's all good. Okay. All right. So introduce this gentleman next to you, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm really sorry.
You forgot my name.
I did.
It's okay.
John.
We only met for 90 seconds at East Coast Genetic.
Okay.
So I'm John Tracy Cunningham,
Oh, okay.
and I'm a regular follower.
Yes, I know
And I
you.
signed up for your Substack.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm on the board of the Ohio Genealogical Society.
Yes.
And most of America at one time or another came through Ohio.
My people did.
So
How do you spell? I mean, I can spell SCIOTO. What is that place?
I'm from Illinois.
Oh, see, he's from Illinois. That's it now.
So I don't know.
I
about-
don't know how to pronounce
I'm not
that
sure either.
town. Okay.
But the point is, a lot of people trace their roots through Ohio. We've got a very good library near Manchester in central Ohio.
Absolutely, yes.
And if you have not joined the Ohio Society, you certainly should at ogs.org.
Okay, give the man a round of
And
applause.
we got a big conference in May in Sandusky.
Here's the thing. I was taught that if you got invited to speak at Ohio Genealogical's annual conference, you had really arrived. Because your society is held in high regard.
Thank you.
Yes, and the library is supposedly incredible.
It's quite good.
I haven't been there. But that means that you have a pretty good membership base to support
We
that.
do. We do.
And in a time when people are saying genealogy societies are, shrinking, that's the
Dying.
word. I
Mhm.
needed it from our
Mm.
England contingent here, there. Yeah, it's good to hear.
So, and a word about myself.
Yes,
I was fortunate to grow up in a county where all 8 of my great-grandparents died. So
that was thoughtful.
they're very thoughtful of them. And I walked into the courthouse when I was 13 and said, Hilda, I got to go in the back and look at the records. And she's my cousin. And I said, okay.
So say first name terms, that was quite
Yeah,
early.
But now I'm doing a do-over because the first time I did it, I didn't do it right.
Mhm.
And now I know how to do it right.
And what are your improvements? This is the
Well, I'm actually-
methodology
I'm actually going to
discussion.
document things
Oh, a concept
because
of,
I've got the documents.
yes.
I've been dragging them around the world for 60 years and
Yeah.
I've got the documents, but they weren't attached to the tree. And now they're going to be. I use the Research Like a Pro process.
Excellent.
I recommend highly
Research Like a Pro, get that link,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind, Randy.
on Family Locket
Yes,
website.
yes.
Yeah.
He knows.
So, but the point is, it'll take me a while to do all this, and I've got my own website, and I'll stick it up there, and I use the Next Generation.
Of genealogy site
from
building,
Mr. Lithgow.
Darren Lithgow.
Yes,
Yep,
exactly.
excellent.
So I'm busy.
You're very busy. I think that we all learned as we progress in our research that even we can't remember where we got something. Like you find a book and it mentions an ancestor, you think, because it has the same name, but you didn't copy the title page or the copyright page or to look to see if there's an errata and what are the abbreviations. And besides that, that's all, that's not firsthand information. You need the original, like the documents you've been carting around.
Exactly.
Plus, you always think you're going to remember because it's important at the minute.
Yes.
I'll
Oh,
never
yeah,
forget
yeah.
that.
I'll remember.
Yeah.
And then you find your own notes 20 years later and you're like, oh, that's my handwriting. I didn't remember
I
that.
don't even know if it's my handwriting.
I have lots of photocopies that I took when I was really young. And I look on the back and I was like, there's no reference.
Yeah.
And it could be like a parish document when there's not even a bit at the top that says it's X or Y parish. And I'm like, Kirsty, why did you do that? Or more to the point, why didn't you do that?
But we didn't know then, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so we need to take the calm approach that John has, which is we're going to do the
Just do
Thomas
over.
McKenty do-over starting from scratch to
Yeah.
be sure we're attaching and that's in our own database.
Mhm.
We're not
Mhm.
relying on Ancestry. They've actually lost, no offense to Ancestry, but technology does have a glitch every now and then, and they've actually lost a tree.
Mhm.
And then anything that person did is for naught.
Mm.
The other thing is FamilySearch and Ancestry and Find My Past and My Heritage, these websites don't have it all. They, and your terms of service for many of them don't permit you to share that document on another website.
Mhm.
I get some leeway because if I've been doing some research and I'm saying I found it at My Heritage, then they consider that advertising. But you want your own best, latest, greatest
Oh, yeah.
on your own computer, and you're back. It's the TNG, the next generation of
Mhm.
genealogy site building.
Mhm.
Is a program that lets you put it up on your own website.
Exactly.
I do believe, and I would like to canvass you here. What do you think about the online trees, WikiTree, or are they of any value to you?
I would say yes. I think everything online has a value. It depends on how we want to use it. I mean, as a inheritance kind of researcher myself.
By the way, introduce yourself.
Sorry, let's go backwards. Yeah, I'm Kirsty Gray. I'm from the UK,
Yeah.
and I do family history and inheritance, basically any kind of people finding, and a little bit of DNA, which will touch upon Roberta's excitement for me
Okay.
earlier on in a minute. But I would say definitely that they've got a use, because we'll often see a tree, but we won't take it as read that it's correct, but it's a good basis to work from. And we've cracked a lot of inheritance cases when you've got a tree online that without that information, that we wouldn't have been able to do it, or if we would, it would have taken a huge amount of time. So I think they all have value.
Yes, I think they give us good clues.
Pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt, as we say in the UK.
And I love WikiTree. And one of the reasons I love WikiTree is because you can
make suggestions.
It's first of all it's moderated.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
and
Highly
highly curated.
Yeah.
So but if it's my ancestor, I can go in and say I'm an autosomal descendant, or I'm a Y-DNA or mitochondrial DNA. So if I get my DNA matches on any of the platforms, I have to figure out which ancestor it comes from. Of course, Y, I don't have Y, but mitochondrial and Y-DNA for men, it's your direct matrilineage. But on WikiTree, you go to the ancestor, and it tells you about that ancestor because I uploaded mine, so it goes to every one of my direct matrilineal, and then I put my autosomal, and then it populates to my ancestors in my tree on WikiTree. So now I can go to the ancestor and say, do any of these people match me? Is this my mitochondrial or Y-DNA haplogroup? So I find WikiTree the most useful of any, in part because it's heavily curated, it's moderated. You can make changes, but you can add sources, documentation. So I actually find that tree the most useful of any of the online sources. Trees.
Hillary, one of my panelists here, she's whole hog WikiTree. That's a pleasant comment here. I don't know what that means in the UK. Sounds terrible.
No, it's good.
She's big time into WikiTree.
Yeah.
And we're always hearing about a connect-a-thon or a source-a-thon. And I was lucky because they spent, I think we had about 30 different researchers work on my tree.
Wow.
And they actually cracked the case and found who Dolly Yaki's parents were. My dad is long since gone and knows who her parents are. But in his entire lifetime, in his mother's lifetime, we had absolutely no idea.
Gosh.
And it was because somebody who had records experience with what had survived. I mean, if I go do research in a new area, I'm used to looking at birth, marriage, death, and I'm not aware of other databases or record sets that aren't online yet that may indicate a familial relationship. I'm really glad that you mentioned WikiTree and why you like it, because I wish FamilySearch had volunteers that worked that way,
Mm.
because FamilySearch is arguably the largest genealogy database period. So, yeah. Can you put that down just for lighting? It's all about our looking good. You'll be on camera. Okay, so Kirsty, what's going on? You've been bursting at the seams. We had to strap her to her chair there. What's going on? What's this DNA
Well, I think
thing?
it was more excitement because like I've known Roberta for a long time and we do totally different aspects of genealogy. What I know about DNA, you can write on my little finger and probably the nail of it. But I was saying to Roberta, just literally as I walked up the street this morning, we had some really exciting DNA news from back home for a case that we're working. For the first time ever, we've used DNA to prove that a dead person is actually the father of a daughter who he is not on her birth certificate.
Oh.
And we've taken DNA from him prior to him being cremated. And we've taken DNA from her, she's still alive. And her half-sister was absolutely adamant that there was no way that they shared the same father. Well, I'm awfully sorry, but you do. And it just came through literally as I walked up the street this morning, and it was so exciting.
All right, this is breakthrough technology.
Yeah.
And that changes lives.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
and it's a large estate financially. So it's literally this person saying, oh no, he's definitely not her father.
Right.
Because she's going to lose half the inheritance.
You did the error work.
Correct.
The error work.
Yeah.
But when I did it, it was my brother.
Oh, wow.
You know, I mean, so it was, I mean, it changes lives.
Of course,
In
absolutely.
just indescribable
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
You know, the excitement that you have is sometimes not the reaction that people have.
No.
It's upsetting and it's
Of
a
course.
concerning thing. And so I always adhere to, I have a hard time with DNA in that regard. Cousin Russ himself had a conundrum that they've traced back to about the 1600s, where there's a misattributed parentage situation, but that is not yet resolved.
Oh gosh.
But for people who are living now and they find out something like this, like there's one side of that story, one person is going to be a little upset, but this is reality.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that we get to do as genealogists and researchers and professionals is to be calm and to not approach with judgment, which is interesting because we have to spend a lot of time judging the reliability of a document and what was the informant's motivation, etc. But I think a lot can happen by just our demeanor and how we handle things. I mean, the world is going crazy of late.
You think?
We can, yes. And we're all getting buffeted in the wind, but we can bend, but we won't break.
Absolutely.
And we're all together in this. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Let's have you all cycle out, have the next group come in. Thank you so much. Wow, that was an interesting discussion. John, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
I heard whatever it was hit the floor, but I didn't know what it was. Oh, you're bad.
Can we get a ribbon?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to give, you have to beg around here.
I have a DNA thing for you. Just a second.
Okay,
When I get
it's
to my
gonna be a
purse.
minute, I can tell.
Here.
Be sure that Kirsty gets one.
Right.
All right,
Tell her not to
let's,
go, just let her.
anything happening on the YouTube side? Looks like we're doing well. Let me pull the panelists up for a minute while these folks settle in.
Are you happy where we sit?
Yeah, come on in and sit down and we'll pull you up in a minute. But I think what I'll do is pull the panelists up. Are you all able to hear us okay?
Yes.
Sounds great.
Okay, so what we're looking at is StreamYard instead of Zoom for live streaming, which I use it because I live on a remote island called Famous Island. And it's up in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, she gave us, anyway. And my internet is spotty and my cell phone service is even worse. And the thing about using StreamYard is it's cloud-based technology, whereas Zoom would depend, its quality and video output on the recording depends on my connection. And it's terrible. In fact, there have been times when this team of people have had to keep talking because I got booted out of my own meeting. And so almost all of them have the capacity as an administrator on my StreamYard channel. One of the other reasons why I like StreamYard is that it's very reliable for live streaming directly to YouTube. Now I do that because, again, I'm not having to, on a very slow internet connection, download a Zoom meeting, then upload it to YouTube. By then I'm dead, tired. It takes too long. It's interrupted. Yes, we're definitely live.
We use StreamYard for our library webinars.
You use StreamYard for your library webinars. That's from Debbie, from the library. Okay, all right. So Frank, can you move people to the wings? And we'll be back with just my group here. Okay, I also like that 2 people could be sharing their screen, but only one shows at a time. That way you don't have the waiting for the guest speaker to present after the introducing people have done their shared screens. Okay, and we need to scooch in, all of us, a lot.
Cozy, very cozy.
Okay. Somebody
It's
put
not
that yours.
Okay, so, yeah, me too.
All right, so ladies, hello.
Hello.
I didn't realize you were going to be here. I wish I
I
still
know
had.
I'm just the only Australian. There's a couple of us going, but not the normal people.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we're not so normal, are we? And I wish I could still have my home here, but we're very happy to be up and out of this 4,000 feet above sea level is too hard on me.
Yes, there's oxygen at a low level.
Yes, yeah, there is that thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of necessary. Okay, so I'm going to have you each introduce yourselves to my audience. Right now we have 43 live viewers plus the people that are on the panel. And anyway, so Fran, tell them about you.
I'm Fran Cadeau, and I actually was born in New Zealand, lived in Australia for a lot of my life,
Yeah.
but I've lived the last year in Spain.
Oh,
So I'm learning
Jealous, so jealous.
I'm learning
Yes, that's
Spanish,
your
and
big
I'm useless.
No.
I'm useless at languages. Oh, thank you. And so you talked about societies before. So
Yes.
I belong to the Clan for Family History, and I still am an active member, even though I'm on the other side of the world. And I think that people are just, I know they think it's all online, but I think that connection between the people, and I'm really looking forward. I'm going back to Australia after this, meeting up with my friends that I haven't seen for a year.
For a long time.
That's my plug for societies.
You know, that's the thing. There was the one and only good thing about COVID was that Zooming and on any platform became normal. Before that, people wondered what the heck were Cousin Russ and I doing? You know? It was, I mean, we are indeed a global community. And I try purposely not to say international because that implies I'm here and everybody else is there. I'm not the center of the universe. And that fact that you could be in Spain and still connect with your people.
Yeah, well, I still run my interest group.
Yeah.
I used to do a tech group, and then you really needed to be there to do it because people would bring their phone and go, I can't log in.
Yeah.
And now I do one for resources, which promotes our resources that our society has and other resources that people use, and I do it remotely.
It's wonderful. But you have to do it like in the middle of the night because you're in Spain and they're.
No, I do it about 10 in the morning.
Well,
make them do it at night. And
Good.
they do it at 7 o'clock at night. And it's been quite good because our rooms are based at the race course. And so you're not allowed there at night. And so we don't have any.
Okay, just a second. I messed up. Hillary, can you move people to the wings? Thank you.
Oh, hi, Hillary, by the way, and Randy and everybody else.
Thank you. Okay, I clicked something funny, Hillary, so thanks for saving my bucket there. I appreciate it. Okay, well, cool. And beautiful tree and beautiful sentiment.
Gift from a friend.
That's wonderful.
He'll be here this afternoon.
Okay. How are things up in Montana?
Montana.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Absolutely.
first of all, introduce yourself.
First, hi, Randy, my good friend Randy. I'm Diane Gould Hall.
Yes.
I'm a blogger. I'm a longtime genealogist, and
Oh, you got it.
I do have it. Yeah, so excited. And this is my first time ever being on Myrt's podcast, and it's pretty. I'm honored.
Oh, it's
to
so
be here.
fun.
And it's so fun to see you again. I've been at RootsTech. I don't know. This is my 6th time. I don't know. I come here a lot and I meet my friends, and that's the best part. I do some research, but it's more about being with friends.
Where are your ancestors from? I mean, like, where are you doing your research?
So my blog is called Michigan Family Trails.
Yes.
And that is because myself, all my siblings, my parents, grandparents, back to great-grandparents have deep roots in Michigan. And from there, it's back to Connecticut, some in Ohio, and then back over to Scotland.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all about Scotland, Ireland, and England.
Yes.
I have only 3 colors in my ethnicity. It's very undiverse.
Yeah.
No matter how much upgrading they do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I do, is I do research, for those. And I'm also a very proud Mayflower descendant.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
And I just became, I go to the Mayflower Congress,
Yes,
Pimlico,
yes.
and then the other meetings.
Yes.
I'm the acting assistant historian for Montana.
Excellent.
Because until they
Wonderful.
have their June meeting, they can't officially call me the assistant historian.
To get actually voted in.
Yes, so I'm the acting
Okay.
assistant historian.
All
So
right.
that's exciting.
That is very exciting. I've often said to people, we used to just hand people a pedigree chart and say, fill this out. But if they had to fill out like a Mayflower application or a DAR application, not that they were necessarily going to join, they would realize so-and-so's the son or daughter of, whatever lineage you're following. And then you have to put real reasons why. That, to be able to fill in that little couple of lines that represents a lot of research.
It's a lot of work. It's also gotten a little more difficult. The proof standards
Yes.
have risen.
Good.
Even since, my joining, which was only 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
They've just gone up. So I'll be at the meeting that they have is coming up in San Antonio, and there's a historians meeting, and we have once a month Zoom meetings for all the historians.
Mm-hmm.
So we can all stay on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually reviewed my very first applicant's application.
Oh,
and,
okay.
it's a lot of work, hours and hours.
Yes.
Because I have to look at every document. So if anybody's interested in joining the Mayflower Society, get in touch and I can point you in the right direction.
This is good.
So it's
This
pretty
is
fun.
good. Yes. I'm like 4 generations from any of the silver books.
Really?
Yeah.
We can't get you. Come on.
No. And so what I'm talking about, folks, is if it is possible that research has been done on the very earliest generations, like the Mayflowers.
5.
The first 5 generations.
5 down
Yeah.
are all in the silver books.
Yep, exactly. And I'm perfectly aware of what registrars for DAR chapters, and now it's historians that do that. That's the equivalent over at Mayflower.
Yes.
Every Sunday when I lived in Florida, one of my friends would come teach a genealogy class with me, which they let her in. She was our resident heathen, as she referred to herself. But she was a crackerjack researcher, and she was colonial dames and the 17th century one, Jamestown, Mayflower, DAR. And she and I and another friend would spend Sunday afternoons poring over whatever applications had come across their desk. And it was hard, really good learning experiences.
Very much.
My job was to try to see what was available for that area that may not have been considered. Because just because you find somebody whose name is John Smith and you're thinking John Smith is the dad, doesn't mean that's true.
Mhm.
Because that dad could have sons and who had sons and they want to name that son after their dad. So you end up with a lot of John Smiths or
Yeah,
Jones.
but we
or
know
whatever.
that our ancestors did that, and even if a child died, they would rename the next child or the next child. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's hard to find proof once we all know as genealogists, once you're back before 1850,
That's when the fun begins.
that's when the fun begins. So it is
Absolutely.
difficult.
Absolutely. So my hat's off to you, because sometimes when people are preparing their own without guidance, and they're new, I mean, one of the ladies that submitted a DAR application said, I don't care about the ancestors, I just want to get into the DAR. And she hadn't been bit by the genealogy bug yet. She didn't understand the joy of actually solving a conundrum where there are people by the same name in the same town, and that you need to look at, who the godparents are, or, who's witnessing the will.
Who witnessed the wedding?
Yep, all of those things that are that fan club that Elizabeth Shawn Mills talks about. That's a concept that I remember before it was that concept. And I remember before the proof standard, which has been revised and codified in the 4th edition of genealogy standards. And the last revision of it included standards for including DNA research. Does Mayflower accept DNA research?
Now you're getting to an area, since I'm new as a historian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I certainly don't have all the answers. Yes, the bottom line is yes, but.
Okay, yeah.
So we're learning more and more about what they're going to accept and what they're not going to accept.
Yes.
Because obviously it doesn't go back. We all know it doesn't go back more than 4 or 5 generations.
But with what Roberta talked with us about,
yes,
it's going to bring the haplogroup study into within a couple hundred years, which is in the realm of possibility now. That is phenomenal work that she does.
It's exciting. I read her post. I had never been in the same room with her as many times as I've been here, and I was so happy to
be here
and meet her.
Well, and do you realize what she went through? It's well known on Facebook that they've had to rip out the flooring in half her house, including her den, her office, 7 times till they finally got it straight without them buckling. So can you imagine the work that she's been doing on a laptop, not with all the monitors, and yet she persevered and did this?
Good for her. But that's tough. I mean, when we moved last year, my blog was silent for 5 months.
Yeah.
Because it was overwhelming for us older folks to move, to pack up and come here. We didn't even have a house.
Yeah.
We lived in a
That's
friend's
right.
house
You
till
were in a rental till
we found one. And
Yeah.
we're happier than we've ever been. Montana, can't say enough good things about it. But, nonetheless, it throws you off your game.
It does.
To do that kind of stuff.
So hats off to her for that. That's
good for her.
All right, so we have someone else in the room. Thank you so much for quickly solving the problem this morning.
I was happy to help.
I mentioned at the top that Rick had helped with the setting up of all this technology equipment, the camera, and believe me, we tried about 5 different settings here. But when we arrived at the library, someone else was in the room. It had been double booked, and you had your staff graciously give up this conference room. So Debbie, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what's happening at the library here at FamilySearch?
Okay, so my name is Debbie Gertler, by the way. I'm the assistant director here at the library.
You can yell at me.
Okay, I'll yell at you. You probably want to yell at us today.
No, I'm fine. I was a little unnerved, and so I was learning to try to be gracious. So I still have a long way to go, I can tell.
Oh, it's
Go ahead.
hard. Yeah. So we're just super excited. We're ramped up for this week. We're going to have probably the most guests we've had in a while, probably since last year at RootsTech.
Yeah.
So we're got everybody prepared. We got our uniforms on. We've got some things going on. You'll notice that there's some microfilm cabinets missing. We're doing a little bit of remodeling, and over the next year or so, you're going to see even more because we, as you know, we're right across from Temple Square here in Salt Lake City, and the Temple open house is going to be happening in the spring, summer of 2027, and we expect maybe 1 million visitors in the library during those 6
Whoa.
months. And so we are trying to do some remodeling, some revamping, getting things ready for that. So if you come to the library today and you come again in 6 months, it's probably going to look different.
Okay.
We're
So-
ongoing.
We got used to the fact that when we came in at the street level, you have that whole exploration area, which was very tactile. You could take an iPad or you could stand and have a backdrop of your choice that kind of matched your ancestors' experience. And that helps bring people who are intrigued with well, they don't
We
know
call
how
them
to
the curious.
Yeah, oh, the curious. Okay, perfect. Yeah, they don't know how to spell genealogy quite yet, and we use the term family history to make it easier. And but we've always known that things were on microfilm, and many years ago now, when the microfilm reels were $85 each, that's part of when the decision was made that let's start going digital. But that was a long process because every item on that had to be renegotiated because at the time the filming happened, digital imaging was just not even invented.
Well, and the same thing for the internet. Many of those were done pre-internet, so that wasn't even a part of the negotiations, whether or not we could put it on the internet. So yes, we've had to redo that. But you can, here in the library, you should have digital access to everything that you have rights for. Now, there are some films that are restricted to certain groups of people, but you should have access. The ones that you may not have access to online, we have tried to keep those here in the building. And they've all been co-located on B1, down with the microfiche. And
down on floor B1, that's one of the lower levels.
Along with the microfiche collection. I'm sure you remember those funny little black sheets of film. Those are all down there. And our beautiful new map room. I don't know if anybody's gone down there.
I haven't yet.
We have a beautiful map collection. We also have a big map table. It's like CSI for maps. And you can pull it up on the computer. You can use your fingers and zero in. It's touch screen.
Oh gosh, we gotta
go. And go right down to the very town that your ancestors were from and see who's there and see what's going on.
That's cool. So we've been seeing people now that I'm not a Salt Laker anymore, where they've got 3 monitor workstations. And are those basically replacing the microfilm readers because we're not doing microfilm so much anymore?
Yeah, well, for the 3 monitors, not all of them have 3 monitors, but most computers have 2.
Okay.
And there are many machines, computer workstations that have the ScanPro machine.
Yes.
So if they did have to use a microfilm, they can just use it right there on the computer. We even have some workstations that have a big giant monitor for those that maybe have vision problems.
Yes.
And they can see that. But yeah, we want to make it super easy for people to do their research. We've all gotten used to at home having 2 monitors.
I know.
Or 3 or
more.
Yeah. And so we've got that all set up. We've got a plug-in there. You can just plug in your phone and charge it up while you're there. The desks go up and down. So
I love that.
User-friendly. If you have some disabilities and you need the desk higher or you need it lower, you can move it. So yeah, we're moving into the 21st century.
It's very flexible. What else was I going to ask you? So I want to talk about restriction. It wasn't that the library or FamilySearch is restricting. Explain that.
So these are contractual obligations that in order for us to get the records, we agreed that we would limit them to whoever they said needed to be limited to. So you may find some collections that are limited to people that are just in the building. In FamilySearch Library, there are other collections that are limited to where you need to be in a FamilySearch center, but those are not restrictions placed upon us by FamilySearch. It's the people, the repositories, the archives that gave us the copies of the records, and they said, yes, you can have them, but this is the conditions that we want for their use. And so we abide by those because we want to have those records.
Sure. And are there time restrictions as well?
There are, and in many countries.
Okay, the question was, are there time restrictions as well?
Yes, many countries have different privacy laws, and so our legal team is very aware of those, and so they follow those. So for instance, if the country says nothing within the last 100 years, then we don't show anything with the last 100 years. So our legal team stays on top of that, and we actually do roll them out when that legal restriction passes. But we want to be good law-abiding citizens and protect people's privacy and stick to the rules.
Stick to the rules is a good plan. Some other things that aren't necessarily in the scope of the library amaze me, and that is the fact that in the case of the Philippines, which has been subject to typhoons, which are what we call hurricanes in the United States, entire archives have been just totally obliterated. Speak to the impact that the digital record collection we have for the Philippines has helped.
Yeah, there are several archives that have had natural disasters of that nature. And because we had been in before those disasters and made copies, we were able to restore the records to them through digital copies. And so it's a great selling point, so to speak, to get them to help and to share with us, to share the records. And so it's a great honor for us to be able to help them get those records back when that happens. But it's all around the world. We think about Puerto Rico, they're right in Hurricane Alley, different areas of the world. So it's a great blessing for them to be able to have those digital copies and know that they can turn to us and restore those for them if they need.
You just send them hard drives and new computers and help out and any way to help out.
Whatever they might need that is within our realm to do so.
We needed you guys 1890, all
I
those
know.
years with county courthouses.
Oh, well, and then there was the NARA Personnel Center and
Yes,
City with, So another thing to talk about, we used to think of, people know I'm Mormon, and I love to talk about all that and about taking my grandmother's name through the temple and things like that. But people also know that I have a grandson that went on a mission to Cape Verde. But the other kind of missionaries that go out, well, there's service missionaries, but there's also digitization missionaries. Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, so they actually get a special assignment and where they go and they've been requested at an archive to help with digitizing records, and that's what they do on their mission. We also employ contractors as well. When I was in Lisbon in 2019, I visited the military archive, and there was a young couple there, and they were digitizing those records with the archive in partnership with FamilySearch. And so yes, we have missionaries around the world that help do that as well, and it's a great opportunity for them and for us.
It used to be that that they would send the hard drives to Salt Lake, but because of the internet, things are different. They can send what they digitized today, they can send it overnight to Salt Lake for processing.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I don't know if any of you had used FamilySearch images, but once those images come in and they've been treated and the metadata has been added, they go right into images. So if you're not finding something digital in the catalog, always search images for the place to see what new has come through the digital pipeline, because that's a great place to find new items.
So what she's describing, folks, those of you who are new to doing genealogy, and DearMYRTLE focuses on beginning genealogy topics. FamilySearch is one of the places to go, and you get a free account, and then you can log in, click search, and look at images as she's referring to. You can also look at the tree, which we talked about earlier, about how that you'll find clues there. I'm sad to say that my Uncle Jack has since passed away, but for years, back and forth, a researcher was killing off my Uncle Jack.
Oh no!
And because his Uncle Jack died about 2 miles from where my Uncle Jack lived. And so suddenly my grandma Myrtle would have 2 sons named Jack, the living one that I could see, but nobody else, because living individuals are privatized. And then this other Jack. And it was a challenge, but it's all good.
We have a solution coming out for those soon. You can beta test right now. You'll have to apply. If you go to FamilySearch.labs, there are control edit trees, and you can fill out a form and be an early beta tester, but it's going to be a tree that you will own, and you can invite others to edit your tree, but you don't have to. You can edit it all yourself.
Wow.
That is
Did you hear
great
that?
news.
Did you hear that, guys? That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Man, the
Oh,
things,
boy.
FamilySearch.org/labs.
okay.
You need to be logged in. So
Well,
it does require FamilySearch account.
I just take this thing when something like that happens, and I've had really bad ones, like a great-great-grandfather that got married in the US and the UK, a child here, wouldn't have enough time to sail. And I just go in and correct it, but I put as many sources as I can.
Definitely.
And then, so I just use it as an opportunity. So I try not to be negative about these
Whereas
things.
I'm like, he's still
Yeah.
living. I have a
Yeah.
picture of us on the back
Yeah.
porch.
That happened to my uncles recently as well. I sent a message to support and they fixed it.
Yeah. Well, support fixed it twice for me, and yeah, it just got unfixed. But anyway, it's okay now. The other thing that my team and my people that I'm aware of are thrilled by is the full text search. So explain that for anybody who's new.
Yeah, so I this is actually going to be part of one of my classes that I'm teaching on searching. But if you will go into, again, Family Search Labs, FamilySearch.org/labs, there is this full text experience. And you accept the experiment, and then you can go in, and what they've done is they have fed as many deeds, probates, marriage, all kinds of records that have not been indexed by humans yet.
Yes.
And the computer indexes them and spits them out. So you can search by name, you can add places, you can add some keywords. You're going to find stuff that you have not found in years. I've heard so many stories of people that have been finding things that they've been looking for years, or brick walls that they've had, and once the full text came out, there it was.
I know. Randy was the first one of my team to dive into it. Of course, he is like, Randy Seaver. He's a busy guy.
Yes,
we are not
the
worthy.
guru.
Yeah. Anyway, he was finding stuff left and right, and he is no shrinking violet when it comes to doing deep
He knows
research
what he's
in an
doing.
area. He knows what he's doing. And because of that full text search, there can be little mistakes, but it's interpreting handwriting, and it's amazing work.
Yeah,
So-
I would highly recommend that if you're new to it the first time, that you read through those search tips, because there are some things that will help you to get better results.
Mhm.
But once you do that, go to town. You'll be down the research rabbit hole in no time.
It's all good.
It's excellent.
Wow. Well, thank you for this wonderful interview, the three of you. I appreciate your being here.
Thanks for having
I
us.
don't know if we have anyone else coming. Did you get your ribbon? You got your ribbons.
Got our ribbons.
Everybody, did I not give you one?
Awesome.
You know how it is. Oh, I put it back in the pile, didn't I? All right, thank you. If there's anyone else, send them in, but this may be it, because we got moved and people may not know we're here, so.
Okay, Sherry Hudson sent me down here. Sherry Passy.
Okay,
There is
She says-
was a notice on the door.
Oh,
to
that's
come down
we
to
wonderful.
put
vote.
a sign on the
thank you.
upstairs.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It takes a village to get this done.
Bye, Hillary.
Bye.
Bye, Andy.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone
Andy. Bye,
else.
Hillary. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. I didn't expect to see you here, Fran. I'm so glad to see you.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye, hon. Yeah. All right.
Goodbyes to everybody.
All right.
I'll see you around.
I think this is about it, which is good. What time is it? Let me pull the panelists up. What time is it? How long have we been broadcasting?
It's just got 3 minutes past the hour.
So, it's a short video this morning. That's a-okay. So here's what's happening the rest of the week. First of all, I am just overwhelmed with gratitude for y'all stepping in and being here early, a very long time while we were setting up. Doing something like this doesn't just happen. It took all of us to get this done, including all those last minute changes. Here's what's happening for me this week. I lost my graphic in all the excitement, so I won't be graphic. I'll just be tomorrow, the genealogy bloggers, oh, I'm supposed to look in the camera, are coming to my hotel room. For some reason, they gave us a huge hotel room with this giant living room and a kitchen.
I saw the picture.
I couldn't
I
believe
saw
it.
the picture you had on.
Yeah, the picture was like, isn't even the beginning of it.
Looked
Anyway,
like an apartment.
it really is. I mean, we stayed in a smaller place for 3.5 months when we moved to Washington State with a cat until we found our house and closed on it. So it's kind of how life goes. But anyway, so genealogy bloggers and a +1 or 2 are coming for a drop-in lunch. We're providing the soda and chips and stuff like that. Everybody else is bringing their own sandwich because I have no idea how many people will come. So far, I think about 18 or 20, but there's 20. And then the conference starts on Thursday, and I will be doing little ambush cams. And depending on my internet access, it will be live or it will be live, but I'm recording it live, and then we'll just go right outside the Salt Palace and upload it, because down here they have Google Fiber and it is lickety split quick. Try to say lickety split quick 3 times fast. Doesn't work. Okay. Anything else before we go? I want to add everybody back. Yeah. Oh, Randy, thank you so much, everybody, for helping. Gosh, you got 1 million comments. Will my notes include the full list of all our guests? If they signed my worksheet, I'm planning on that. Kirsty Gray's company, well, there's the link there. Randy tried his best to give the URLs where he could. Let's see. Sean is saying he started that do-over 2 years ago. Yeah, very interesting. Lynn Tenney is saying OGS, the Ohio Genealogical Society, has been very helpful to her research. I like to acknowledge who's here. Let's see, June. Hi, June. She still has the index cards from her early years of doing research. I know what you're talking about. I still have my dad's oblong family group sheets because I'm afraid I forgot to, type something in. That's when we had like a little square or rectangle at the bottom about the size of 2 or 3 postage stamps, and it was labeled sources. Yeah, can't do that. Gwen says she has her master tree in Roots Magic. And be sure that you back up to the cloud. Back up, use Dropbox, use Backblaze, something like that. If you are told to evacuate because of fire or floods or anything else, you've got 15 minutes or less. Please have it backed up to the cloud. Oh, and thank you for giving us the link to FamilyWise. We had a lot of cool people here visiting. Okay, let's see. Gwen's a wiki treer, 2 one-name studies. Gosh, you guys have been busy. Ellen, I like your comment that you always check out WikiTree when you're researching a new ancestor. It's part of our literature review. Yeah, there is the TNG's website. Thanks, Hillary, for putting that up. Hi, Betty Lou. I need to get back to working with WikiTree, she says. Tony's here from Ireland. It seems to be no in-between still. Either your research is shoehorned into a shared tree, which rarely works well, or you have to step up with a private website. Yeah, and then you've got to pay for it. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You think in a very smart way. And I think that the technology focus has been on the digitization, getting it come to the forefront quickly. Online, a lot of energy has been put into, I mean, they have staff attorneys who work out all these contracts. It's just amazing trying to beat the clock on records that are getting more fragile as the years go by. Yeah, let's be a voice of reason and soften. Yeah, although I think we can be jubilant, jump up and down when we actually have a breakthrough. Judge the documents in total analysis and do not judge the people, the documents, and the DNA are saying. You know, I'm really glad we got to have that discussion this morning because we don't know the circumstances our ancestors were experiencing. I'm thinking of my great-grandmother whose husband was Civil War Union and was frequently in the old soldiers' home in Leavenworth, Kansas. He was an alcoholic. That was self-medicating. That was PTSD. She had little children. How could she survive? He wasn't providing for her. So she did live with a series of different men who would tolerate her and those little children in a time period, you know, around 1890s or thereabouts, when often children were abandoned to an orphanage because the subsequent husband, you know, didn't want to have anything to do with the kids. Yeah, fabulous panelists. I think it was a good show.
It was.
There we go. Mayflower member here. There, Sherry. Yeah. And Sean says, one generation yet to prove for the Mayflower connection. Way to go. Betty Lou. I'll let Diane know you gave her a high five back. Yeah. Maria, I wish you were up here, but you're moving into your new house. I understand. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that Debbie Gertler is the assistant director at the FamilySearch Library here in Salt Lake City. That was a pretty nice extended interview we got to have with. Well, guys, I mean, there's a few more comments. Let me see. Jill, you said, tell me what this is about. I can't quite read this.
So, excuse me, I made a presentation recently on images and full text search.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked people if anybody had ever used it, because a lot of people just put in a surname and they're done. And there was an individual in the group said she had used the full text search because she was looking for her fur trader. And her fur trader was based in Ohio, and she couldn't find him for years. Well, he witnessed a document in St. Louis, and she goes, nailed his feet to the ground at that moment in time. So she was very happy with how it had worked out. So she was a great testimonial to a group that is generally a little hesitant to try the new things.
Mm-hmm. You know, that is a pretty big breakthrough moment. I mean, we almost expect Randy to discover amazing things because he does it so routinely, because he's doing this kind of work all the time and trying the new things that are being introduced in photography, everything, AI. Yeah, it's really good to hear it from a researcher who has a big, huge breakthrough like that. It's pretty
Well,
darn.
it was great to have, you know, because I make a dry presentation about it, you know, and show examples and such like that. But she had a real life experience with it. So with her ancestors. So, and the fact it was a fur trader, I thought was particularly interesting.
I know. I would have had to have a sit down talk and say, I don't think that's possible, but it was.
But it was.
So
St. Louis was very settled, and you know, so yeah, that was good.
All right, so nothing left to say, folks, but thank you very, 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 very much to
Can I
everybody.
just mention one thing?
Oh yeah,
Because
jump in.
Yeah. We mentioned WikiTree. I know they're going to make or they're going to show something new at RootsTech, which is going to happen in a week's time.
So they're going to give us a preview announcement about it?
Yeah. I have got, well, I know I did have a link to the, they've already announced something on to the people that are on WikiTree on the G2G forum that they've got.
Okay.
About things
Well,
to
keep
show
us
people.
posted. And it doesn't hurt if you mention it in the Dear Myrtle group or I do. This is a zoo here. It's crazy. There's so many volunteers here. They're following all over the patrons that are here at the library. And I know it's going to be a zoo here all week. So if you could post it as soon as you're allowed, I would appreciate that. And Jill will be here tomorrow. Okay.
Getting that early flight out of Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now there's nothing left to say, right? Okay. Happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap.
Bye.